the Seattle Storm came into this game with one clear plan: slow down Caitlin Clark and knock Aliyah Boston out of the paint. They actually managed to get half of it done. Boston went down in the second quarter after a hard collision, and for a moment, it looked like Seattle's plan might actually work. But nobody told Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Sophie Cunningham that the plan was supposed to succeed. By the end of the night, Seattle was the team left looking completely shaken as the Indiana Fever completed the season sweep in dominant fashion. Show your support for the Fever squad in the comments below.
The referees do Caitlin Clark so dirty. This is good defense. Should have been a steal. Watch it in slow motion. How is that a foul on Caitlin Clark? They've been doing it all season. She begs for a challenge. Of course, Stephanie White has not challenged one play this entire year for Caitlin Clark. But there's a reason she can't play defense. The refs won't let her. They call foul.
Fans have been asking the same question since the final buzzer. How much contact does a player have to take before people stop calling it tough defense and start calling it what it really is? Because what Seattle did to Caitlin Clark didn't look like normal basketball. It looked like a game plan built in the film room, designed to make her night as difficult as possible from the opening tip all the way to the final buzzer.
Every game, Caitlin Clark gets fouled the entire time. These reach-in fouls all the way up the court during the full court press. She still managed 32.
The Storm came into this game determined to stop Clark, applying full court pressure the moment she crossed half court and sending extra defenders at her on nearly every possession. As one analyst put it, Seattle pressured Clark the entire length of the floor and doubled her every chance they got, even if it meant letting Indiana's bigs bring the ball up uncontested. Their game plan was simple: force Clark toward the sideline, deny her the ball, and make sure she always had a defender on her. The physical play never let up. Even in the fourth quarter, Clark was still getting bumped off screens, grabbed around the perimeter, and hit across the arms on drives. Possession after possession, the contact kept piling up until it looked less like tough defense and more like a clear effort to wear her down.
And then look at this. Some people say that wasn't a foul. Well, then why on this side of the ball is that a foul? So let's review this. So you're telling me that this is not a foul, clear reach in, swipe across her entire body, but it happened all game. I'm going to show that on my video. But this is a foul.
Seattle Storm head coach Sonia Rahman admitted before the game that you can't truly stop Caitlin Clark. All you can do is make her night as difficult as possible. Once the game tipped off, that mindset quickly turned into a physical style of play, with Clark facing constant grabbing, hand-checking, and bumps almost every time she touched the ball. The officiating only added to the frustration. Clark was called for questionable fouls near the rim, while obvious contact against her on the perimeter often went uncalled. After the game, Stephanie White said the Fever challenged the calls they believed were wrong and won those reviews, showing just how inconsistent the officiating was throughout the game.
Like, all these stats should have been a steal, are just whatever the refs want to make it. She never gets calls, and they always call ghost fouls on her. It's crap. It really is.
Flo J. Johnson and Jade Melbourne became the face of Seattle's physical defense, staying attached to Clark all night with constant grabbing and what one analyst called hips and arms defense, making the contact look more like a hug than a closeout. Johnson finished with just 4 fouls, a number many fans felt didn't reflect what they saw on the court. Then came the game's biggest moment. Aliyah Boston set a screen, rolled to the basket, and got tangled with Johnson from behind. As she fell, her heel caught awkwardly, driving her right knee into the hardwood. The Fever bench immediately went silent, knowing it was far more serious than a routine fall.
Here is Clark faking the 3, tried to bounce it to Boston. Boston goes down, grabbing her right knee after the collision. Well, here's Aliyah Boston.
Officiating became one of the biggest storylines after the game, with both coaches addressing it instead of ignoring it. Sonia Rahman acknowledged there were questionable calls, while Stephanie White emphasized the need for consistency. Through it all, Caitlin Clark stayed composed, taking the physical play without letting it affect her game. But then everything changed. Aliyah Boston went down after grabbing her right knee, and the arena fell silent. She managed to get up but couldn't put weight on her leg, making it clear this wasn't a routine injury. As Boston headed to the locker room, the focus shifted from the score to one big question: could Indiana recover after losing its starting center? Fever fans everywhere were left hoping the injury wasn't serious and wishing Boston a speedy recovery. Before the injury, Aliyah Boston was having one of her best stretches of the season. She scored 11 points in just 11 minutes, shot 4 of 7 from the field, hit a 3, grabbed 2 rebounds, and added a steal. She attacked the paint with confidence, worked perfectly in the pick-and-roll with Caitlin Clark, and took advantage of every mismatch. Boston looked aggressive, comfortable, and in complete control, giving Indiana's offense another dangerous weapon before her night was cut short.
Really accelerating on the defensive end as well, picking up the pace, and Boston making it look easy.
To this team, or maybe a Madison Booker or Hannah Hidalgo, depending where they end up selecting as Boston buries the 3.
The biggest question after the game was simple. If Aliyah Boston had played all 40 minutes instead of just 11, would Indiana have even needed Kelsey Mitchell's fourth-quarter takeover? The injury wasn't a non-contact play. Boston got tripped from behind by Flo J. Johnson while rolling to the basket, causing her to land hard on her right knee, the same knee she had previously injured. She immediately grabbed it and headed to the locker room. Stephanie White quickly adjusted the rotation, inserting Monique Billings, Michaela Timpson, and Michaela Hines-Allen to fill the minutes. After the game, White said the team didn't want to risk bringing Boston back. While imaging was still pending, Boston later returned to the bench in full uniform, with no ice on her knee, and even managed a small smile, offering a hopeful sign for Fever fans.
Clark on the move, puts on the brakes. Sophie Cunningham into the game for the first time. Billings has been active here in the first quarter, has the size advantage and uses it.
Nice spin.
The injury shocked the arena, but the Fever never panicked. Kelsey Mitchell said the team's next player-up mentality has become part of its identity, and Stephanie White praised the players for encouraging each other before the coaches even stepped in. Monique Billings answered the call with 14 points and 11 rebounds, giving Indiana a huge lift. Instead of falling apart after losing Aliyah Boston, the Fever leaned on Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and their depth, kept pushing the pace, and stayed in control from start to finish. After the first quarter, the scoreboard read Indiana 37, Seattle 20. Despite spending the week focused on slowing Caitlin Clark, Seattle watched the Fever score 37 points in just 10 minutes. Indiana pushed the pace from the opening tip, with Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham constantly moving without the ball to keep the defense off balance. Clark took advantage by scoring when given space and finding open teammates whenever the double teams came, making Seattle pay for every extra defender they sent her way.
Cunningham way outside. Oh, yeah! Harris, Cunningham, drills a 3. She's hit a pair.
Uh-oh.
Sophie Cunningham sparked Indiana's hot start, scoring all 11 of her points in the first quarter while hitting 3 of 4 from three-point range. Every shot energized the Fever bench and forced Seattle into a tough decision. Once the Storm focused on taking Cunningham away, they opened the floor for Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell to attack with more space. That's the challenge of defending a team with multiple scoring threats: shut down one player, and someone else makes you pay. Caitlin Clark finished with 32 points, shooting 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, and a perfect 10 of 10 from the free throw line. She also added 7 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal, and a block in just 33 minutes. Her true shooting percentage topped 87%, an incredible mark considering the full court pressure and constant physical defense she faced. She buried pull-up threes, created tough step-back jumpers, and punished double teams with pinpoint passes to open teammates.
27 games down and 17 to go. Here's Clark off the screen and drills her first three.
It's what we're here for. It's an effort to start the game.
Here is Clark, drives by Melvin and flips it home.
Once she gets Melvin on her hip, forget about it.
The third quarter became the Caitlin Clark show. She scored 16 of Indiana's 18 points while the rest of the Fever went 0-for-9 from the field, with Kelsey Mitchell's only points coming at the free throw line. After Seattle cut the lead to 65-63, Clark took over with step-back threes, strong drives, and tough mid-range jumpers, answering every Storm run. Her scoring spree helped Indiana rebuild the lead to 76-72 heading into the fourth quarter. Seattle stayed in the game thanks to Natisha Heedman, who scored a career-high 33 points on 11 of 20 shooting with 6 three-pointers. Easy Magbegger also battled through foul trouble, but Kelsey Mitchell saved her best for last. After scoring just 10 points through 3 quarters, she exploded for 18 points in the fourth, hitting 2 early threes to extend Indiana's lead. Mitchell finished with 28 points, closing out the game with clutch jumpers that Seattle couldn't stop.
Clark has been brilliant. Mitchell electric in the fourth. Oh, and she just keeps piling them on!
Monique Billings quietly played a huge role in Indiana's win. She finished with 14 points and 11 rebounds, recording a double-double while shooting 4 of 6 from the field. After Aliyah Boston went down, Billings stepped up with strong rebounding and steady inside play, giving the Fever exactly what they needed to help secure the victory.
Clark a little stutter step, fades, fires, and rolls it home. Clark with 19.
Yeah, the floor's getting ready to open up.
On fire and has 14 of Indiana's last 16.
This wasn't one player carrying Indiana. It was 3 scoring bursts at the perfect moments. Sophie Cunningham dominated the first quarter, Caitlin Clark took over the third, and Kelsey Mitchell closed the game in the fourth. Every time Seattle made a run, someone stepped up with an answer. After the final buzzer, the conversation changed. Instead of asking whether Clark could handle physical defense, analysts started asking if any team actually has the personnel to slow her down. Seattle threw full court pressure, double teams, and constant contact at her, yet she still finished with 32 points and an 87% true shooting percentage. Indiana also stayed flawless at the free throw line, going 26-for-26, just one make shy of the WNBA record. Clark, 10-for-10, Mitchell, 6-for-6, and Monique Billings, 6-for-6, never missed. The win also marked Indiana's 4th straight 100-point game, a historic first in WNBA history, while the Fever continued to lead the league with one of the most efficient offenses ever seen.
This is what we're here for, though. Look at this move.
Just shaking off that Seattle defense. The Fever have 100 points.
The win completed Indiana's 3-0 sweep of Seattle and set up the next stretch against Portland and Minnesota. Clark's MVP case also keeps getting stronger. Over her last 4 games, she's averaging 30 points, 8.8 assists, and 4.3 made threes while shooting 56% from the field, 59% from 3, and 95% from the free throw line. The biggest concern now is Aliyah Boston's health, as her availability could determine how far the Fever go this season. Seattle's physical game plan failed to slow Clark down and instead strengthened her MVP campaign. With Portland up next and Minnesota looming, Indiana now faces another big test. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Fever coverage.